Hey everyone, I hope you're having a great day and you're doing very well. I am Valerie Roberts here on the Ahmeera channel, and I wanted to talk to you today about who is Ahmeera and where did this Ahmeera channel come from. Um, so I became aware of some channeling resources about 10 years ago. And over the past decade or so, I have become a studious follower of some great channelers, such as Esther Hicks, who channels Abraham. And if you're not familiar with Esther, then I'll just let you know that Esther sort of channels this body of wisdom that comes from greater consciousness, and that comes across as Abraham. So when Esther is channeling Abraham, people refer to it as Abraham. Another person who I admire and I love to glean wisdom from is Joanna Hunter, and Joanna channels a body of wisdom called Skylar. So in both of those cases, when Joanna or Esther or other channelers are channeling wisdom, then what you can see happen in channeling is that those people, their voice or their persona is sort of replaced by this other knowing, this other greater wisdom. And it feels like when you're interacting that they're replaced, right? So that Esther is not really talking, and if Abraham refers to Esther, it's kind of in third person. It is in third person, and the same for Joanna and Skylar. That is not my experience. So all of my life, I've been keenly aware of religion and spirituality and its effect on me. As a young child, as you may have heard in some of my videos when I talk about some examples, I had a major fear of God and a major fear of my sin and of hell. And fear, guilt, and shame were major familial drivers in my upbringing. In my 20s, as I began studying world religions, world cultures, etc., I became aware of the many perspectives about spirituality, religion, deities, entities, consciousness, gods, and messengers such as Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad, etc. And that became very interesting to me, and it always has been. I've always also been very in tune with things that cannot be seen. When I was growing up, I had not just a invisible friend, but I was a very active member in an entire community in another world, basically. Because I spent a lot of time playing by myself. And if you want to say that I traveled to a different dimension or that I was interacting between dimensions, however you want to think of that, it doesn't matter to me how anyone else perceives me. All that I know is that I had a very active interaction with a village of what I would call fairies. And that was real to me. Growing up, the relationship between myself and things that I could not see, spiritual, otherworldly, ghostly, alien, never felt scary or far away, I guess you could say. So when I would talk with somebody and they thought that the likelihood of there being otherworldly entities was just absurd and ridiculous, I found that to be so odd, because to me, I just knew that there were other entities. Same with ghosts and so on. Having said that, I'm not psychic. I don't receive downloads in the way of Abraham or Skylar. I don't foresee the future per se. I don't interact now as an adult. I don't see visions of otherworldly beings, other dimensional beings, and so on, but I feel their presence. And I have a sense of knowing. So I believe that that's called claircognizance. But I'm not at a place now where I feel that I am speaking on behalf of a greater consciousness. What I do feel is that the experiences, my career, my interactions, teaching, mentoring, leading others, coaching, and my open-mindedness to other possibilities has led me to this place where I'm in a really constructive place to share an understanding. So when I'm sharing on this platform of Ahmeera, it is from a place of interpreting, I think is the best word. My understanding of my knowing that I feel so sure of. So if you wanted to say, I receive a download and then I'm transmitting that to you, some people would say that. To me, that doesn't feel like the right words. However, I don't feel that I'm just sharing an opinion. This isn't, well, I'm Valerie Roberts and here's my opinion on this. The topics that I talk about here are those that I take with me into my meditation, and I just plant them. I just put them in their little pot with their soil and I sit them there. And then when I go into my spiritual practice each day, and I meditate, I'm open to understanding better what it is that the question is brought forth. Sometimes this information can come through text. I can be drawn to, just like I feel like many people are, I can be drawn to a certain text. For example, several years ago when I met my husband, my mother-in-law, had given him the book A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. And, we both picked it up, we flipped through it, we read it, I kind of speed read through, and I was like, I like this is cool, but it didn't have power or meaning to me at that time. And then this past fall, something said, pick that book up again. And I could not put it down. I have probably read A New Earth and listened to it a dozen times in the past 3 months. I cannot put it down. Now, having said that, am I a disciple of Eckhart Tolle? Am I here to spout all of his sharings in A New Earth? No, not really. Much of what he wrote about resonated inside of me greatly, and I found myself going, yes, that is my experience, that is my knowing, that is what my knowing says. But some things kind of hit me like a gong and kind of bounced back off, and I thought, that's probably not for me. That's probably for someone. A great many someone somewhere is reading that right now, and that is what is resonating with them, and they're saying, yes, that's for them. But for me, right now, that's not for me. So, in thinking about creating this channel and what to call it, for a while I had a sense of imposter syndrome. Why would anyone want to hear from me? I'm just reading books and meditating and receiving understanding that benefits me in my life, that helps me manifest all of these wonderful things that I'm enjoying in my life and creating realities that I love and adore. But what would be the point of me sharing that? And then about a month ago, this name, I was kind of drawn to go to your computer, look up names, and there were some keywords that I was using to find these names. And these keywords had come to me and I'd written them down and I was pulling them up, and then I was looking at commonalities and I was just looking at names. And when I saw the name Ahmeera, I was like, that's it. That's what I'm here for. I'm here for this name. And I love to write stuff on my forearm. So if you ever see me, I'll probably have things on my forearm. But I wrote it on my forearm and I'm like, oh, I like that. But what's it for? I'm not Ahmeera. I'm Valerie Roberts. And, but this name meant something. So I hung on to it and I wrote it down in my journal, and I hung on to this name. And Ahmeera means plentiful, abundance, prosperity, wealth. And to me, that means awakening to your greater consciousness and all that can be expanded upon through that. It's not about becoming a rich person or becoming a materialistic person or having more than someone else or greed. It is about recognizing the infinite abundance that we all have access to and that we are all worthy of, and that we came to this planet to explore and experience and to utilize to serve others. It is our greatest place of well-being. And so first came, the name, and then came the realization that just as an author writes a book or a teacher writes a curriculum to share with a class, perhaps there is someone that needed to hear my translation of these understandings that I was compiling for myself on this platform. And so the Ahmeera channel was born. And once I had that realization that I could share these things that come across to me, it all came very quickly like, oh, okay, it's this name and it's this understanding. And I am not for everyone. I'm not everyone's cup of tea. And my experiences, interpretations, and translations of this greater consciousness and knowing that come through me to share here are not for everyone. And so, if you've stumbled upon this and you're watching it and you're feeling attacked, triggered, judgmental, critical, who is this person, questioning, then I would simply say, maybe this isn't for you. Maybe this platform and what I'm sharing here wasn't intended for you. You stumbled upon it, and maybe someday you'll realize why you stumbled upon it and that it wasn't for you at this time. And maybe at a later time it will be for you. So just move on. And I would encourage you to do that with anything in your life. When you bounce against something, just like when I'm reading a book that I'm loving and something just bounces off of me, it doesn't mean that the author's not credible. It doesn't mean that there's not merit to what is being shared there. It doesn't mean that it's not meaningful to someone or that it's not true in some perspective or realm or reality. But just for me at that moment, it's not. And so when you can learn to approach the world with an understanding that every path, every door, every person, every experience, every rendezvous is not yours. And you can learn to just flip those off like switches. Just flip, 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 flip. And you can learn to narrow down the path to your path and to the path that has all the light switches that you want to turn on all the way down the corridor. That is the path of least resistance. That is when the world is resonating and vibrating harmoniously with you. And when you begin to see your realities, your manifestations, your creations, your love, light, and birthing of new realities taking place and experiencing pure love and light and joy. That's why I've created this channel. That's who I am. And I'm just here to share with anyone that it resonates with. So if I can serve you, I would love to do that. Feel free to email me at askahmeera@gmail.com with your questions, and I will meditate on them and come back with whatever conscious understanding that I have that hopefully will support you and help you. Okay? All right. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for listening and tuning in. I love you, and I wish you many blessings today. Bye-bye.